Gen Z trusts TikTok more than their own government. Based on the latest trust report, 38% of Gen Z trusts social platforms with their data. Apparently, Gen Z puts more faith in social media companies than governments. But this doesn't mean they blindly trust platforms. They still demand honesty and transparency. Boomers, on the other hand, are completely the opposite. 71% trust government institutions and only 4% trust social platforms. Are you surprised? I'm not. And this isn't because Gen Z necessarily thinks social platforms are morally good, but it's easier to trust where you spend most of your time, even if the people within these social media platforms don't necessarily have the authority. To them, platforms aren't just apps. This is where they build and spend most of their social lives. When you live inside something daily, it's only natural that you trust it more than other sources. Government institutions normally don't have that advantage. They might be present online, but they don't communicate in the spaces where Gen Z actually spends their time. The interactions they do have are rare, formal, and wrapped in legal language. Nothing like the daily, familiar conversations Gen Z has on these platforms. And you can't build trust through occasional paperwork or crisis announcements. Trust grows through clarity, consistency, and being visible in people's daily lives, and governments simply don't operate that way. And before anyone says Gen Z is naive, here's the counterpoint. 46% click accept all less often than 3 years ago. They're cautious, they're selective. Gen Z is becoming less willing to hand over blanket consent. They know every click becomes part of a profile, and they know algorithms are constantly listening and learning from their engagement. Government institutions often struggle to connect with Gen Z because they don't speak the same language or show up in the same places. Their communication feels formal and distant, and it rarely explains things in a way that feels clear or relevant. When transparency isn't easy to understand or consistent across touchpoints, trust is hard to build. That's the gap marketers need to pay attention to. This generation wants transparency. Is your intent easy to understand? They want to know what you're asking from them and why you're asking for consent. Your banner, your form, your permission requests. If the ask feels vague or pushy, that's a fast exit. It has to be clear and feel human. Platforms win their trust because users know what they're exchanging their data for, and users are getting something in return, like convenience and personalization. If you want to gain user trust, you have to market the same way. Short sentences, clear value, and give users control over their preferences and whether they can give and revoke consent. Gen Z is the early indicator of what digital trust will look like for everyone else in the future. They're not just the next audience, they're the audience we'll be building our marketing strategy around. Gen Z is already a quarter of the world's population, and their spending power is on track to reach $12 trillion by 2030. If you're not earning their trust today, you're already behind. Earn their trust now to get ahead of competitors. If you want to see the full data behind this shift and get a practical guide on how to earn Gen Z's trust in real marketing scenarios, download the full report.